A new year, Pisces, 2018. Welcome to it and Happy New Year. Here's your chart. It's a blockbuster year, I can tell you that. And let's just get this ball rolling, and just a day-by-day transit movement. The important thing here is this 11th house of your horoscope, as we can see here. Let me just get the January date right, otherwise I'm ushering in 2019. The large combination of planets here in your 11th house. Saturn had made a move to this area, which is your zone of friendships and networking, but also that area of your life which relates to your dreams, your ambitions, what it is that's going to fulfill you in life. And Saturn is notorious. It's not a particularly friendly planet to you. It's notorious for really putting the brakes on things, causing you to second guess yourself. And for a long time you've had this transformative Pluto here transiting in this 11th house. So you've got some big energy here, and you've got to be careful that you don't let Saturn put a damper on things. If you're not achieving what it is that you want straight off the mark, you're likely to get very frustrated, as shown by the transit of Mars towards the upper part of the horoscope. Mars and Jupiter together as the year starts, showing an expansive lift to your emotions. Mercury also moving into this part of the zodiac. With Venus, you can see just how much energy is up here. So a lot of socializing, and some of this can happen when you least expect it, as shown by the square aspect of Uranus here in your second house of finance. By the way, the 11th house has to do with income, profits from business. And here we see the challenge of these planets to Uranus. Uranus being the abrupt one, the one heralding unexpected changes in your finances. Take a look also at the first important transiting lunar eclipse that takes place on the 31st. Right here in this 6-12 axis. See the opposing lines here? The moon here. 12th house is expenses. So we talked about the finances and the fact that this is a sensitive area of the horoscope where not only expenses, but people may lean on you and want help. This is shown by the full moon in the 6th house of work. It could well be people that you are working with who are demanding more of you than you can give. Your work should do well by this time with the Mars transit in the upper part of your horoscope. That's a lovely placement. And it also shows excellent trine aspect to the node in your 6th house. So you're able to be in step with everyone, but you do feel people may be taking advantage of you. Venus here is lovely in this sun sign with Mercury. It makes you very popular, makes you idealistic with the Sun-Neptune conjunction. And here we see things shift a little in the 3rd month of the year with Venus and Mercury in the 2nd house. Also very good for earnings. Mercury gives quick turnover, by the way. But you've got to be careful. Look, it's just gone retrograde there in the latter part of March, indicating a review of things and the need to reassess your decisions, any contracts here. Venus moving in the segment of contracts. That could be the one that precedes the direct motion, which takes place just on April 16, 17. There's a bit of frustration here around the middle to latter part of April with Mars and Saturn and Pluto in your 11th house. That can usually be a reflection of troubles with friends or elder siblings. Maybe more to do with friends, because Venus in the domestic sphere is quite nicely placed here, bringing peace and satisfaction. Mars moves out of this 11th house. That gets rid of the problem you have with friends by around May 17th. At the same time, you've got a transit of Uranus, the 12th ruler, into the 3rd house. So this is to do with travels, emigration, movement. And this is a time when some of you who may be contemplating leaving your locale and moving into different areas may actually do so. Mercury and the Sun in the 4th house, so this domestic thing continues for a while. The next big thing is the lunar transit eclipse on July 28. Let's hasten that a little with a weekly view of this. There we go, just leading up to here we have the full moon again here. You see how this 6th house, 12th house keeps coming out as a recurrent theme for you Pisces. That has to do with, well, it's part of your nature. You are the sort of person that wants to give of yourself so much. But you know, the giver often becomes the victim. You've got to pick very, very carefully. You've got to discriminate. You've got to be very discerning who is worthy of the time and effort that you give to them. The Sun in the 6th house may be a little bit of a concern health-wise for yourself, especially with Mercury retrograde. Mercury for Pisces is a karmic obstructive planet. It rules the 7th house. For the common signs, the 7th ruler is a karmic obstructor and shows your troubles may relate to not just your own health, but maybe even the health of your partner or your spouse, because it rules your 7th house. The August 11 point we missed, which was a solar eclipse in the sign of Leo, which is exactly what we're talking about here. Sun has moved out of here. So do be careful of your health around that time of the year. Mars here is still doing the backwards and forwards thing for quite some time. Out of the 12th house of expenses, back into the 11th house of friendships and siblings. So that also seems to be a critical part, but seems to receive the support of Mercury and the Sun by the middle to the end of September. This is still toing and froing, so when I mentioned earlier you might be thinking of travelling, which is also shown here, and definitely by Jupiter in the 9th house, with Venus also entering this area by October, Mercury there, and then you'll see by the 22nd, 23rd of October, Sun is going to do it too. So this is a likely time of higher education, a spiritual recharge, long distance travels are shown. But by far November is one of the better parts of the year shown by Mercury transiting here. Then the big transit, first one in 12 years, one of your ruling planets, Jupiter, moving into the upper part of the horoscope. The moon is there, and then later by about the 21st, 22nd of November, the position of the Sun, bringing with it some ideal circumstances for your professional life, that's for sure. This is the time, it probably sounds a little bit too late in the year, but it's never too late to make those changes or to ask for those pay rises. Be careful again, look, that harrowing retrograde Mercury, it never seems to, you know, disappear long enough for you to just get that goal across the line. So once again, although the latter part of the year, be careful in your negotiations. Don't immediately think that anything that is offered is going to be for real. You just got to wait here for this to go direct. So it goes back to the 9th house of legalities, higher education. You may need to fine-tune. There it is on the 7th or 8th of December moving forward again. And then, only then, when it moves back into this area, do you get the green light to do what you've got to do professionally. All in all, a great year, I think. You know, you can find out more. I've written 3,000 words on the forecast for Pisces for 2018. You can get that absolutely free at astrology.com.au, my website. And I do look forward to your company next month. Till then, again, have a very safe and happy New Year. Bye for now.